After playing the role of Wolverine for 17 years, Hugh Jackman's Logan is finally on home video. Check the affiliate link below for more information. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and there was a very big news drop that just happened that I don't want it to come across as I'm grave standing, but I do want to talk about this because I feel that it's important. So it's just been reported that Zack Snyder is no longer directing the Justice League movie. He has since stepped down following the unfortunate suicide of his daughter back in March. This is news we're just learning. So it's 2 months ago this happened. They kept it very much under wraps, and I understand why. I do. I get it. The tabloids would have run amok talking about how this is going to impact Justice League, and it would have taken away from the situation, the tragedy, the utter absolute tragedy of his daughter and her untimely death. But in the aftermath of that, and this is what I want to talk about here, Joss Whedon has been announced as the interim director of the film to come in and put the finishing touches on it. And I honestly think that was probably the best choice Warner Brothers could make. I do. I really think this is the best choice Warner Brothers could make. And ultimately, I think this is going to work out in their favor in the end. Zack Snyder, his directing style is very much a point of contention for a number of people. He tends to work better in the long form. Look at Watchmen, for example. The director's cut or the ultimate cut were both better than the theatrical. That ultimate cut is like shit, nearly 4 hours of awesomeness. But you can see why they chop some stuff out. Sucker Punch, same thing. Theatrical cut, not very good. Director's cut, much, much better. Batman v Superman, the theatrical was garbage. But Zack Snyder took all of that hatred, all of that anger and animosity that was aimed at that just utter turd of a film, and he took it right on the chin, because he's a team player. Now, the extended cut was one of my top 5 films from last year. I don't know, I loved the extended cut. Maybe it's because the bar was set so low with the theatrical of Batman v Superman, but I loved the extended. And everything I've seen from Justice League has got my nips hard. The trailer they showed off at Comic-Con last year was fantastic. The subsequent trailers have been great. I cannot wait to see this movie. But there's been one thing that's kind of been hanging overhead of the DCEU up to this point. It's been too goddamn dark. It's been too goddamn dark. Marvel has now since moved away from the more realistic side of things to the cosmic side of things, or like the grounded planetary side, and moved over to the cosmos. And as a result, color spectrums and palettes are everywhere. Now, this is where Joss Whedon comes into play. Whedon brought us the first 2 Avengers films. And the first one was just amazing. It was amazing. Came out 5 years ago, last week. Can you believe that? 5 years ago. Or 2 weeks ago, whatever the hell. 5 years and 2 weeks, doesn't really matter. The point is, it's been 5 years. And the movie still holds up. It is still a great deal of fun to watch. And the ensemble part of it is what made that film great. And when it came to directing that movie, at the time in 2010, when they announced Joss Whedon was going to be the one directing it, I thought to myself, he can handle ensemble. He's done it with television. He did it with Serenity and Firefly. He can do this sort of thing. And he brought it. It might have just been surface level stuff, but he still brought the fun. Age of Ultron was a bit of a different story, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that there was a lot of just butting heads with Marvel at the time. And the editing that they wanted for that did not go in line with what Joss Whedon wanted. And I think that Kevin Feige, and it basically kind of exuding the more control over the sequel than he did with the first film, kind of really rubbed Joss Whedon the wrong way. But if you look at Justice League comes across as more lighthearted than Batman v Superman, because that was a heavy film. But it's still dark. The color palette is not bright. It's not there. And Whedon will not be able to change any of that. He's putting the finishing touches on this film. He's going to come in and handle what needs to be done. There haven't been any reshoots up until this point. Now we can basically understand as to why there haven't been any reshoots. And this probably has a lot to do with the fact that it's been 2 months since the incident involving Zack Snyder's daughter, and they just have kind of maybe shut things down, or Whedon's been coming in and working on it on the down low until they wanted to make this formal announcement, which also leads me to wonder, because it's been a month and like 2 days since they said Joss Whedon was going to be directing Batgirl. So it makes me wonder if when the situation happened, Warner's was like, let's see who we can get. They called up Whedon, Whedon agreed, and then as part of that agreement, part of the reward for him stepping up would be he was given the reins to Batgirl. And I'm pretty sure part of his stipulation was, no one can come and fuck with me on this one. No one can step in. No Jeff Johns, no Ben Affleck, no one. I'm doing this one on my own. I have a feeling that's what the setting is there. But when it comes to Joss finishing Justice League, I have a feeling he'll be able to bring a bit more levity to it if they decide to do reshoots. And they might. They might decide to do summer reshoots and have the film ready to go by the end of the year, November 7th, when the film comes out. It's entirely possible that what they're going to do is they're going to go back and reshoot some stuff, doctor the script a little bit more to give it more levity, more hope. That was kind of the whole point that that Jeff Johns wanted to do. He wanted to make Justice League better. He wanted it to be looked at as better than Batman v Superman. And from what we've seen so far, I think it's entirely. I think they've done that. I think they've made it leaps and bounds more fun, but not Avengers Assault on New York levels of fun. You know what I mean? But maybe Joss will be able to bring that to it if they decide to do summer reshoots, if they decide to add in those kind of character moments, which would then really kind of exemplify what Joss does well, which is the ensemble, lighthearted piece. And that is something I'm excited for, because this is essentially what the DCEU needs. Wonder Woman is getting good reviews, or I should say the early reactions for Wonder Woman are pretty good. It comes out in a couple weeks. People are excited for it, and they're saying this is the best DCEU movie yet. And ultimately, it kind of had to be. You know what I mean? Wonder Woman had to be looked at that way, because they're banking on it, and because there are those who are afraid that if Wonder Woman doesn't do well, then it won't see a sequel. And they want there to be more. They want there to be more female-led franchises, and so on and so forth. Now, I think that going forward, we're going to learn more about how the post-production process has worked. From what I can gather, Ben Affleck is probably taking a step back in terms of his role as exec producer. If you remember correctly, after Batman v Superman came out and it just got completely shit on, Warner Brothers pretty much said Ben Affleck is going to be handling the post-production on the film, and he's going to be an exec producer. But given everything that's happened in his personal life with Jennifer Garner and the recent announcement of divorce and him going to rehab for alcohol and everything else, it's impossible he may be stepping back from that. Even though the current rumor is he's still going to be playing the Batman, he just got to get his own shit straight. And so Joss coming in, I think can bring it home, can still land on the points Zack Snyder wanted to make. And then maybe if they're going to do any reshoots, do dialogue only reshoots, no set piece reshoot, and then just up the fun and up the levity of those particular scenes in order to make it a more complete kind of super best friends film, rather than something dark and drab and Batman v Superman. So I've got good feelings about this. I don't want to go as far as to say this is the best thing to happen to Warner Brothers, because I think that's not accurate. But I feel that given the situation, given the fact that life handed them lemons, Warner Brothers has turned around and they've decided to make lemonade. And I know a lot of people out there really hate Joss Whedon based on his personal politics. I do not like his personal politics. I feel he's become extremely repugnant in terms of those politics lately. But when it comes to being an artist and a director and an auteur, I highly think that he will be able to bring it pretty damn well. But what do you guys think? You think Joss will be able to come on board and bring this thing home and knock it out of the park? Or do you think Justice League and ultimately the DCEU is now doomed? I'm very curious to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Book Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.